Yeah, thanks, Saul. Better still, if you know any theists, so you're having these
Yeah.
disagreements with, get them to call in and get them to represent their own case because we'd be really excited to talk to those.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take another one. Which one? We've got a few back here. Richard, do you have any preference on any of these?
I'm quite interested in the Wicca one.
I am as well. Let's talk to Lester in El Salvador. Lester, you are on Talk Heathen, and it looks like you want to talk about magic and Wicca. So what is your question or argument?
Yeah, no, it's really just a question. I wanted to see how you guys would see. Thanks for having me, by the way. It's just really, I'm a bit curious about this. I'm an atheist myself, been for a while now, more than 15 years. But even though I'm an atheist, I'm the type of person that likes to challenge my views. I don't go trying to find information that confirms what I said, but I like to go for things that are completely different. And one guy actually added me when he learned that I'm an atheist. He added me to like this group of people that practices magic. And I started learning. I started reading a lot, about magic, how it works, and everything. And it's kind of, in a way, I have to admit that it sounds crazy. Like I'm not gonna lie, it really sounds like a crazy thing, especially the ritual parts. It's just something that I don't see myself going through all that. It's not in me. But at the same time, it's kind of interesting to see their point of view that we cannot. Well, they tell me that because I'm an atheist, I'm blocked, right, and I cannot see all these things that happen around me and all that or whatever. But yeah, they pretty much explain that materialism and physical world is very different from other dimensions, and it works different in other dimensions, and this is where all these entities or whatever are. And it is only possible to access to those if you actually start doing all these things. That's where I get stuck. I didn't go from there. I'm not willing to go through all the rituals and doing whatever things that they do. But I just wanted to know what you guys think about that. Could it be that somehow we are blocking ourselves here to the other sorts of forms of reality?
I mean, could it be? Sure. The question here is like we're in a weird circular argument that's like, well, this stuff is real. But then when you ask me to justify why I believe it's real, it's like, well, I've experienced this and you can't unless you also experience this. So
Yeah,
then it,
yeah,
it just keeps going in this endless circle, and it's very easy to avoid having to provide evidence. So am I convinced that it's real? No. I have no reason at this point in time to believe that there's some magic that I am blocked off to. And I would hope that these people could find a way to um, show evidence that this is in fact true. If this magic,
yeah,
especially if they say that this magical realm somehow has influence on this physical realm, they should be able to show that connection. Because if you're going to intervene with the physical realm, there's going to be something like that is affected by that definition. So
yeah,
even if the movement of the air, like we can't see the air, but we can measure air currents. We can find some way to um, justify believing in air currents, but we don't see the
yeah.
same thing with magic. So that's my biggest hang up with that is I'm not convinced beyond what they can demonstrate, and they haven't been able to demonstrate that. Richard, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if this is directly related to magic, but I used to be the kind of resident skeptic in a ghost hunting group, and the amount of times I've been told that the Ouija board doesn't work for me is because I don't believe is it's silly. It's the same tricks that psychic mediums use when they're trying to get through to people, and if they get the information wrong, it's because they tell you you're not open. It's the same kinds of trick that MLMs use when they're trying to sell you things And if you're not interested in buying, they say, well, you've just got to trust us. The results will manifest. They will manifest, but you've just got to take that first step and believe. It's not really very useful as a form of justification for what you believe. I'm kind of with Ben. If there's every, well, no, I was going to say there's every possibility that it could be true. I don't think that's true. Whether it's true or not is absolutely irrelevant as to what the justification you've got for believing it. Evidence of belief and evidence of the subject or object of that belief being true are two completely different things, and they're so often kind of amalgamated into the same thing. I think I was very cautious at the start of this call when you started talking, and you said you wanted to talk about Wicca, because I didn't want to kind of strawman people. Because there are a lot of people who kind of practice Wicca and things and practice those, especially those kind of the ceremonial aspects of it, where they're sitting down or meditating and praying and doing that, where it's kind of a self-help thing. It helps them relax and things. And in that respect, it's fine. There are lots of people who do practice that and don't actually believe in the magical aspect, but it quickly became clear that you were talking about actual magic that actually manifests in the universe. And I think to me it's a get out. To me it's a cop out when you say you've got to believe, or you've got to take this first step to believe. You're not open to it. They're all different ways of saying we can't evidence the shit we're saying.
Yeah, Lester, what would with the magic, what would convince you that this was real?
Oh. Well, being honest with you, if the demon just appeared in front of me or something like that would be like at that point I would be like, all right, so something's happening here, right? Either is my brain on some hallucination or something, or yeah, this is real. Like that would be a very clear sign. But it is funny that you mentioned that, because I actually ask them all the time, have you actually seen the demon? How do you know there was a demon? How do you know there was something there? And their explanations are so vague, and they use pretty much, they want to believe, and I see that, right? And I see that they want to believe, they want that to be real. But yeah, it was just, I think that the ritual part is what really got me off. I was like, there's no way I'm not going to do that, right? I'm not going to do that. And yeah, it's just, I just saw it as a different religion. They say it's not a different religion or anything like that, which is funny, because people says atheism is a religion as well, but that's a different thing. But yeah, it is pretty strange. It's just a different way of our religion, I guess. And I just wanted to know what you guys thought about that. And yeah, what they say all the time when there's no evidence or anything, go read. They give me another book. Okay, here's another book you can read about that, right? This is your lack of faith or whatever. So yeah.
Lester, I think there's a very good distinction you just mentioned then when you said about asking them questions. And I think asking them, how do you know what you believe is real, is a far better thing, a far better question than asking them, what have you seen? Is it real? Because they might see something. They might genuinely believe they see something, and it could, as you mentioned earlier, be a mistake of the brain. It could be a mistake in perception. It could be, there could be many different reasons. It just could be simply an optical illusion. They may genuinely believe that they have seen something. And that's why I was talking earlier on about the distinction between evidence of belief and the evidence that the subject of that belief is real. Because you may very well have seen something that may very well convince you that that thing is real, but that is not evidence in and of itself that thing is real. So I think sticking with the line of questioning about how do you know it's real, rather than have you seen anything, is a far better direct route to go to kind of cut through any kind of doubts that they might have or you might have with what they're saying.
Yeah, and something else that you can do here too is, like, especially if they're making the assertion that these magical forces are impacting physical reality, you can try to ask them, like, what specific ways does magic affect our reality? And oftentimes people will
Yeah.
say something very vague, like, "Oh, it'll balance your energy," or they'll say something that you can't really point to. But if somebody said, "Yeah, magic tied my shoes this morning," that's at least a measurable claim. Like it's not nebulous. It's clearly defined. This is what I expected magic to do, and this is what magic did. And that's something that's
Yeah.
testable. So I think even narrowing it down to uh, getting them to make a claim that is testable versus staying in this very nebulous, not easy to communicate
Yeah.
area. So that's something I would recommend
Specific,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, yeah, because they said, yeah, my days are getting better, something like that, just something very like anything, like whatever, right? My family started talking to me or whatever, and they just say, yeah, it's because of the magic or whatever, but it's just maybe they did some changes that they didn't realize. But yeah, it's very clear to me, and I do thank you guys for helping me to how to counter these things to them, I guess. And yeah, no, I do appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
listener.
thanks for calling in. Definitely call back if you have any other thoughts on this matter.